some?
Yeah.
And I bend over. Bad news.
Oh, yes.
Don't you ever get that when you get like so warm
Hey.
that you like
Pretty good,
your
yeah?
Good.
joints like,
Good.
more? So like I bent over to untie my skates and my back was like.
It's pretty late. That's probably why.
It is almost midnight.
All right, so we're starting. Thanks everyone for joining us. That was a great event tonight in the free dance. It was also exciting. In first place, Madison Chock and Evan Bates. In second place, Madison Hubbell and Zachary Donohue. And in third place, Kaitlin, Hawayek, and Jean-Luc Baker. We'll start with Maddie and Evan. If you guys maybe tell everyone how tonight went, what it feels like to be back atop the podium, and then we'll go down the table.
It was a good night. We're very happy. Happy to be back in Greensboro, and we had a great skate tonight. It was really fun. We performed, and that was our goal, to have a good performance and really enjoy ourselves, and we were able to do that all week, and so we're just so thrilled. Yeah, we're just so thrilled.
What an interesting week. Yeah, I think we're feeling a little bit disappointed. We felt like we made a lot of improvements in our skating quality, and especially for the free dance. And we were really looking forward to giving our best performance. And we felt like we did that on practices. And probably something that like the spectators don't realize so much, but out of the first element, the dance bend, we got turned around somehow and came out the wrong direction. And the next four elements, which are in our program case pretty valuable elements, all were facing the wrong direction. And after the 1 foot, luckily, like it's a testament to our training and our connection that without speaking about anything, I was able to turn it around and luckily place our choreo elements back the right direction. But it was probably one of the hardest performances, not the most enjoyable. It was really like a thoughtful focus on the element and yet somehow put one portion of the brain aside to try and figure out how to fix the best that we could. So it didn't feel like the performance we wanted to give. But that's competition, that's athletics, and we're anxious to, go to the next competition and finally be able to show all the work that we put into the program.
I think for us tonight, we were happy to put out another clean and executed performance from beginning to end. I think yesterday was such a high for us in terms of the reaction, the performance, the emotional connection that we felt, that tonight didn't quite have that same euphoria when we finished. This program is a development, and I think both Jean-Luc and I see the potential for it being much higher than what we were able to put out today, and I think that's an incredibly positive thing because we still have room to grow as the season goes on. We still have several more months of the season, and we're really looking forward to putting out a more attacked, more fully performed program as the season goes on.
Great. We'll open it up to questions. Troy here is passing a mic. We'll start with Brandon in front.
Question for Madison and Evan. Thank you. It's been 5 years since your first national title. What has it been like over those 5 years continuing to work toward and almost waiting for another national title?
It feels longer than 5 years. I feel like so much has changed, and so much in us as people has changed as well. And it's a great feeling to feel that growth and to come back to Greensboro with a completely different perspective. But we're in a very good place, and we could not be happier with how the season has been going. And we've worked so hard to get to this point in our career and to feel strong and confident and like there's still so much room for more growth. So that's a really exciting feeling, and we're just so happy that we can share this moment with some of our best friends and training mates, so it's really special.
Go to Lynn.
Madison and Zach, could you talk about, what the ramifications are when you do get turned around like this and start doing multiple elements in the wrong direction? And, this sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, an unusual mistake. I don't know that you've talked about having this happen to you before.
Oh, this is definitely a first.
It's a first in competition. It isn't a first for this particular spin. Just something about the layback position, the velocity in which you're turning, and the way that we do our choreographic exit. It is hard in an arena. Once it's filled, it looks different than it does when it's on practice. And the transition is something that we'll have to look at, possibly putting in something that allows us to have a second to not be dizzy, to figure out which way is which. It's something that's happened on practice so far this season, and we thought we got a handle on it, and it hasn't happened in 2 months. So today it really did take us by surprise. I think the ramifications for us today was just a little bit everywhere. It really tired us out mentally. We weren't fully in the performance because there was kind of that question. Instead of just being able to skate with no doubt, we were always connecting in our eyes, trying to figure out what to do.
How do we get back
How
on
to
track?
fix it? Do we fix it? I took a chance because basically in the past we've had things go wrong in a performance or the energy feel off, and anytime we've spoken to each other in a performance, we have a big mistake, we fall. And that's something that we've worked on, not allowing the connection to become verbal. So even in this situation, I didn't want to try and talk about the solution, pause. So I had to trust and take a leap of faith that I would be able to come out of the 1 foot section going the opposite direction, and that he would be connected enough to me to see, and that did work. But I would say that just on every element, we weren't fully in it. And certainly we do create our elements to look a certain way, right? For the judges who are judging it. Some of the accents, the eye contact was really lost. I know that our twizzle sequence is a high scoring element that's supposed to charge right at the judges, and today it charged away from them. Same with 1 foot. The rotational lift, there's a large leg flare that looks very cool going the opposite direction, and today I just opened my crotch right in front of the judges. It's hard to stay in the moment, and there were a lot of things that went wrong with today's performance. So, I'm proud of us. Another year and with a lot less experience, it could have gone way worse than it did. So we salvaged it really well, and we're proud of that part.
Go to Jackie.
A question potentially for all three, but feel free to answer if you want to answer. So I think Brandon was saying it's been 5 years since Maddie and Evan were champions here. That is the largest gap between titles for any dance team ever, and at U.S. Nationals. And we've seen in the history of ice dance that there's these kind of long lists of like 4 titles in a row, 5 titles in a row kind of thing. And there's been a lot of kind of shift in people holding titles in ice dance lately. What does that say about U.S. ice dance for you guys, and what does that mean for the future for you guys?
I think that just goes to show how incredibly strong and deep the ice dance field is in the U.S., and it's a testament to the athletes themselves and how hard they work and how much we keep pushing ourselves to be the best athletes we can be, and none of us have hit our peak yet. I think there's still tons of room for all of us to improve and push each other, and so I think you can keep looking forward to a very interesting ice dance event.
Anyone else have anything to add?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Go to JR, then we'll go to Lynn.
Madison and Zach, in telling the story of A Star is Born, was there an intention to omit the end of what happened in the film, and can you talk about why?
A few reasons, honestly.
Yeah, there's a few reasons. Like, I think it has to make sense from a dance side. After all, we're doing a dance performance. And it also has to make sense from a musical side. There wasn't a strong piece of music used, and I'm not sure how we would be able to dance an ending where they weren't together and he's by himself in the garage. In any version of the movie, they're not together. It's not something that they experience together. And the way that the movie ends with her singing, it just felt like the overall message of the movie really ended with, no matter what, we had this incredible moment of our lives together, and the way that we loved each other was so unique, and nothing else will change that. And we related to that for the story, and as well in our own personal relationship, way more than the death part. So it just didn't feel like the right direction to go in.
Lynn?
L'Equipe's cover has a story, and the headline is "Angels Fall from the Sky." And of course, they're talking about your training partners, the French couple, losing the European title, certainly won the silver medal, lost by a narrow margin. And prior to Greensboro, Madison, Hubbell, I believe you talked about, hey, anyone can lose. A lot of things can happen, and we certainly are going for gold. Can each of you talk about this kind of very surprising loss in Europe, and what it says about ice dance, and how high you can aspire?
I think from all of us, right?
Yeah, Madison, everyone, you can start. And then
I didn't watch Europeans, but I did watch, Guillaume posted his rhythm dance. I watched it. It was fantastic. Yeah, we train with the French every day. We know how good they are, which is very good. They're really good. But I think what Madison Hubbell is saying is also true, that you never know what's going to happen. Ice dance is a strange sport in some ways. It can be unpredictable based on so many different things, including what the panel looks like. But I really can't speak much more on the event in Austria without having, more information.
Yeah, I would say that from my side, I think that the French came into the world of ice dance and skyrocketed at a moment when people were looking for something new and different. And they had such a unique way of skating. And they became dominant so quickly. They've had such an amazing reign for the last, 5-6 years. But I think that in the last 2 or 3, people have been knocking at their door, whether it be, of course, Tessa and Scott, but also the rest of us pushing really hard to catch up to them. And I think that sometimes it takes time to open people's minds to that. I don't think that from the skater's point of view, it feels shocking, because there's how many people, there's 10 teams in the world that are all going after them. It had to happen at some point, I think. There's so much talent. What I see is a very tough competition. Worlds is going to be interesting, and I think it's exciting. I'm hoping that it has a surge of fans, because there's nothing more boring than knowing the outcome before it happens. And I'm really excited. Like, it's tough. It's tough to be here and compete against all of these teams and know that any little tiny mistake could take you way down the ranks. But it's exciting for the viewers, and hopefully that brings back more interest in our sport.
You guys have anything to add?
Yeah, I think we can both completely agree with what Evan and Maddie both said. They're phenomenal athletes, and ice dance is a pretty weird sport. But like Maddie said, everyone is really good. And when you start looking at just the actual skating skill and what we're all producing in top 10 in the world, it's honestly phenomenal. And like, again, what Maddie said, the past 5 years, they came in at a really good time to show something different, and it really pushed all of us, which is why I think it even goes back to your question of how in the past now, like, there's been so many different U.S. champions, because not only are we being pushed by Gabby and Guillaume, but we're also seeing that change in between us as well. So I think that it's bound to happen, and it shows that there is an opportunity and that their judges are willing to do change, but at the same time, it's down to a 3 turn sometimes. So, yeah.
Let's go to Brandon.
Maddie and Evan, your free dance program has been received very well this season by fans and by judges. Where did can you talk about where the concept came from, and also what it's been like for you to embrace those very specific roles?
Evan and I listened to a lot of music during the off season, and this was actually one of the first pieces that we listened to, and it caught our attention immediately. We were very moved by it and very intrigued, and when we brought it to the coaches, they were also very interested in it, and they thought that it was a good fit for us, and everyone was really having fun with the concept. It was Marie's idea for me to be a snake and Evan to be a traveler who finds me. And so we kind of just ran with it from there, and worked with Sam Chouinard on the choreography, as well as Marie, and well, everyone, Patch and Roman, and everyone touched it a bit. So it was just such a fun process, and such a cool new character for us to dive into. And we've really been enjoying the process, and I think that really comes through when we skate.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll do the photo down front.
You have such a...
It's been so long.
Hold it in. No, I can't.